Hey, I'm back and welcome to tonight's episode of Nik at Night. This is like a midnight episode, a late night midnight episode of Nik at Night, and I just had to get on tonight because I watched a very interesting Red Table Talk like the rest of you did, and I just wanted to put my 2 cents in on it tonight, you know. So listen, I'm having a grown woman adult beverage because this is going to be a grown-ass adult conversation, honey. So look, let's just get right on into it. So Will and Jada were at her red table. Jada brought herself to the red table. And when I first saw the tweet that said Jada was bringing herself to the red table, I did not believe it. I just did not believe it because they have never spoken on their union. They don't do that. They had a red table talk where they talked about, you know, moving their marriage from a marriage to a partnership, but it was really evasive, really elusive. You know, they didn't give details. You know, there were no details they were given. But in this red table talk, they had to address some stuff. You know, they had to really address some stuff. And it all came about because August Alsina did an interview with Angela Yee. So look, I want to get back to the basics. I want to do, you know, I like to be thorough. So in the Red Table Talk, Jada says she met August like 4.5 years ago. And everybody's wondering, why is this coming out now? Why is he talking about this now, August Alsina? Why is he talking about this now? Oh, he has an album coming out that he's trying to promote and blah, blah, blah. I don't know what it is, but I found it interesting that Jada and Will were saying how this is old news, and they were kind of shocked that it was coming out now because it was such a long time ago. Well, I thought it interesting because I vividly remember Jada having August Alsina on an episode of her Red Table Talk show, one of the early episodes. She started this show in 2018. Now tonight, she says she hasn't spoken to Og, as she calls him. I haven't spoken to Og in such a long time. So now I know that they can film. That's how Hollywood works. They will film something 6 months in advance and then we will see it later. But with Jada's show, it's kind of, you know, a week out because she tackles things that happen fairly in the right now. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't do the 6 month. She does things while they're circulating and while they're hot. That's what her topics kind of are on. So I don't know how far out it was, but she did have him on July 9th, 2018. 2 years. Exactly, 2 years ago. So if she had him on then and they were obviously on speaking terms, I'm thinking they were still in the midst of that relationship. And if I'm remembering correctly, he dropped that song that alluded to her after the Red Table Talk. So there is when the breakup would have happened. So it's not 4 years old. It's really like 2. And I don't know about you, but if you've ever been in love, like hard love, like for real love, and it doesn't work out and you have to break up or whatever the case may be, 2 years is nothing to try to recover from a heartbreak. I mean, that's like nothing. So he may now just be in a place where he can talk about it or where he can discuss it. And it's probably helping him get through it and get over it. The other thing is, I hate how we as a society, boy, the double standards are so real, and I'm not naive enough to think that, you know, double standards don't exist. I know they do. I know they do. Some are harsher for men in circumstances, and some are harsher for women in circumstances. In this instance, cheating is always harsher on a woman. You know, a woman's not looked at as someone who's supposed to cheat. You know, she gets shunned upon. Well, the reason for this whole thing is because August wanted it to be known that he wasn't a homebreaker. And she may have been cheating, but what we didn't know was that her and Will were not together. They were still married, but they were separated. They were actually separated. So he was feeling attacked because people thought he was a homewrecker, or he slid in, or he did some snakish type shit. Well, August is like, well, no. You know, I had a conversation with that man. He gave me his blessing. Now, I don't know if him giving him his blessing were the right words to use, because Will did not seem to, you know, tonight, it didn't seem like he gave him his blessing. He just knew what it was. You know, he knew what it was. He wasn't surprised. He wasn't shocked. It didn't happen behind his back. So in that regard, I'm like, why are we, and I say we, but I look at social media, you know, and I look at people's opinions. I'm seeing what's going on. I scroll, I read, I see, and the overwhelming attitude is, why would he kiss and tell? Why would August kiss and tell? That's some old bitch shit. And he all in his emotions and blah, 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 blah. First of all, he was 22, 23, 24, 25-year-old young man dealing with a grown-assed woman in Jada Pinkett Smith. If the tables were turned, we would have a little more empathy for a female in that situation. We would be calling the guy a predator. He preyed upon her. And the crazy thing is, when I read these comments, I see women that are really upset with August. I see men who are really upset with August. He knew what he was getting himself into. Blah, da, 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 blah, da, 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 da. We didn't say that about the grown-ass women, whether they be young or not. You know that R. Kelly was fucking on, and he was fucking on some little young girls that were underage, but he also had some chicks in his harem that were just young adults. They were over 18. They were young, but, and I ain't giving R. Kelly no kind of pass, but I'm just saying, we don't want to admit as a society that men actually have feelings and they get hurt and they're emotional. Like, ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't like to see that, you know, he shouldn't have said nothing and blah, blah. He actually said why he spoke on it, which I could completely understand. You know, he has lost some shit behind it. People thinking he was a homewrecker and blah, blah. No, let's just tell the whole truth. And the thing is, you can't kiss and tell. You can't tell people not to tell shit when they hurt. You can't tell people that. You cannot do that. You can't say, don't tell that shit. That ain't but a man. Who are you to say what a man should and shouldn't do? My thing is, Jada, when you doing what you doing, know who you doing and dealing with if you don't want nobody to know. That man is an artist too. Other artists know when you're going through something as an artist, you're going to let it out in whatever form that you are artistic in. Jada's an actress. Jada does the Red Table Talk. Well, August Alsina is a singer. He writes music. He writes songs. He does music. So it came out in a song. And we started to connect the dots. Although we had already known, you know, we had already kind of thought something was going on because they were not hiding at all. Out taking photos and everything together. So it wasn't as if they were hiding anything. So why are we really upset with August? I don't understand it. Anyway, so going on from that point, I just want to say that I thought it was a wonderful display of mature matrimony. And whether or not they call it a marriage or not, they married. Their asses is married. So that's what it is. They have whatever kind of agreement they have, but they are indeed married. They have a contract of marriage together. And they were very mature when they came to the red table, and you could see the emotions of both. Will was, He's a stand-up guy. I thought he was a stand-up guy before that, but doing this solidified it even more for me. You could see when he was uncomfortable. You could see it plainly in his face. He actually looked like he just agreed to do it at the last minute, because he didn't look well put together. You know, his eyes were kind of puffy, a little red or whatnot. Didn't look like he really wanted to be there, but he was being supportive. And he alluded to that in the actual interview. He said he felt like one of those women, you know, who's standing by their spouse when the spouse does something dumb and they decide they're going to stay with them, and they do the press conference and they sitting there looking crazy, but they trying to be supportive and stand by their man. He made the whole reference and he was dead on. That's why he said he felt. And I believe it. I could see that. I understand all of that. But then I could see how she was uncomfortable in talking about it. You know, she knew she fucked up. She knew she fucked up. But in her messing up, she goes, you know, I learned from it. And the biggest thing that I took away from it, Will made a few statements he made, and it stuck with me. He said, you know, people should, when you have the knowledge that you can make mistakes and not lose your family for it, or not lose your family while you're making these mistakes and growing through, that's a big deal. That's huge. And it really is. Because listen, I'm not married, but almost every woman in my immediate family is married and has been married for a very long time. So I have seen firsthand the roller coaster ride that marriage is. And so if you aren't willing to grow with that person, and as Will and Jada said, grow through some stuff with that person, man, don't sign up for marriage. It's not for you, because you're not going to be married to the same person you were married to in year 1, 2, and 3 as you potentially will be if you stay together in year 24 or 25 or 26. That's just the truth of the matter. And also what I learned was, the way they put it, you know, people say, I love you unconditionally. And it's cute and sounds nice and sounds real sweet. But to love somebody unconditionally means flaws and all. And that's a hard, very hard thing to do. Very, very hard thing to do. So I commend the Smiths. And I do not condemn August. At this point, there's no condemnation for anybody. Will and Jada are still together. August is moving forward with his life. He needed to do that in order to live a fulfilling life for himself. She said he cut her off. She didn't stop the relationship. She was cool. She knew what she was doing. She had a husband and she had a boyfriend. She was content. He cut her off because it was something that he knew that he couldn't do anymore. And the other thing about August, people are jumping on him. He has had nothing but positive things to say about her and her family. He has never once said anything bad about her or Will. Never. He's never said anything bad about them. So I don't know why people are like coming for him. Why people are so upset with him. Man, look. People keep stuff in and lose their minds. If he needs to talk about the shit to get it out and get it off his chest, and so that he can move forward with his life and be productive, let that man do that. People hanging themselves from trees and shooting themselves in the head for less. So if that's what this young brother has to do to be able to move on with his life, let him live. Let him live. It's hard out here. It is hard. And we are so judgmental with each other. We are so judgmental with each other. These keyboards and these phones make people so judgmental. Man. And it's okay, you know, I know they put their lives out there in front of the world to see and blah, blah, blah. But you know, damn, people are people. People have actual real emotions and actual real feelings. Let them folks live their lives. And we can comment or whatever, but I would like for us as a people to get to a place where we aren't so hard on each other, so harsh on each other, especially for a natural feeling. These people are not robots. They're actual people. They have real feelings. And like I said before, if I fault anybody in this situation, I would fault Jada, especially after seeing tonight. I would fault Jada. And I don't fault her because she was truthful and honest with everybody who was in the situation with her. So either you can choose to roll with it or not. Will chose to roll with it. And he said, you know, I'm going to get you back. And it was funny because that's what people are focusing on. I'm going to get you back. And she goes, well, you've already done that. And he agreed. Yes, he's already done that. And he also said, I don't want to do this anymore. So let them people live. You know, they've gone through whatever they have gone through. They gave us something they didn't owe us, which was the sit down at the red table. Let them live. Let them live and let August live. Before Jada, he had a whole ordeal of other issues that he was dealing with. On top of that, his health started to fail. Keep in mind, this is a 27 now, year-old young man. He's still a young man. He's not even 30 yet. And if you don't know his story, go back and look him up. Look at the things that he's had to deal with thus far. It's a lot. 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 So that was my 2 cents on it. I enjoyed the Red Table Talk. Again, like I said, they didn't owe anybody anything. But I do appreciate the fact that she did do the Red Table. Because I ain't gonna lie, I would be looking at Jada side out a little bit, because you bring people to the Red Table to heal. You know, you can't bring folks to the Red Table to heal if you don't address the elephant in the room where you are concerned, dealing with your own stuff. So she had to do it. She had to say something. Something had to have been said, because it would have compromised the integrity of her show had she not. That's just me. That's my opinion. That's how I feel about that. But guys, tell me what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe, please, if you haven't already. And I will talk to you all on Monday. I'm sure it's going to be a lot being said and some things being done over the weekend. So we should have a good weekend recap on Monday. All right, that's all I got. And get on this adult beverage. Mm-hmm.